Hey guys, so in this video, I'm going to go on a tiny bit of a rant, but I also want to have, more of a fruitful philosophical discussion about the hobby, about competition, about supply and demand, about being emotional versus being, just objective about things in life. And I promise I will tie it all into Pokemon investing at the end of the video. But before we get into that, just your daily dose of booster box updates. Fusion Strike is still sitting around that $500 price point. Most recent sales say 470 and 498. Lost Origin, no sales today. Yesterday, most recent sale 420. Brilliant Stars still making a move up. Only sale today, $290 USD, closing around 300. Chilling Rain making moves as well. Recent sale from today, 380, and yesterday two at 380 as well. So almost a $400 box there. Astral not doing too much, sitting around that 220 price point. A couple sales before then at 240. And Evolving Skies, $1,400, guys. A couple weeks ago, this was a $1,000 box. What the heck happened? $1,400 at this point. Okay. And Prismatic Evolutions, 144, 141 to whatever it is, in that 140 range for a regular ETB. And Prismatic is obviously the talk of the town right now. A lot of people are very upset with what's going on with Prismatic Evolutions. They're upset that they can't get pre-orders in. They're upset that there's more competition in the current market. And, a lot of people get very emotional about this. I've had people on my posts get very emotional and upset and hypocritical as well, which we will discuss. And, I saw this yesterday on r/Pokemon TCG, which is kind of the more collector-based subreddit. A lot of these people over here are quite irrational when it comes to, people holding sealed product. They get very upset about it. And I just thought this was funny, though, which I'm not going to read this whole thing to you. But this person basically said that they're done with the hobby. They were in Fred Meyer today. This was, I guess, last night. And there was a kid with his mom. The shelves were empty. There was no Pokemon cards. The kid asked his mom, "Mom, where are the Pokemon cards?" And she didn't have an answer. And, this brought this guy back to his childhood because he was that kid in the grocery store with his mom wanting to open a pack. But times have changed. Yeah, they've changed a lot faster than 20 years, man. Basically 6 months ago, you could probably go into the store and find Pokemon cards. But whatever, I digress. Anyways, this is the part that's funny. He said, got back into it for a bit and had some fun. Got some decent pulls, had fun. You already said that. Found your childhood collection worth 2K plus. So he's putting a numerical value on his collection, guys. Interesting. Actually enjoyed it for a bit. But then I see videos of people swarming the new set 151. Or excuse me, the new 151 set, which again kind of confuses me because it's not a new set, it's a new product, but whatever. I see grown adults on Whatnot acting like children. The target audience changed and now it's all about dollar sign, dollar sign, dollar sign. It's disgusting. And then you scroll down, you can go through some of these comments, but this is the hilarious one. This guy says, all these people see is dollar signs. By the way, my vintage collection is worth 2K plus. Right? So you can't get more hypocritical than this, guys. Literally in the same post, in the paragraph below, this guy was complaining about the hobby being about money, or I guess the paragraph above. He puts a monetary value on his collection, and this is just like, you can't imagine the level of hypocrisy that a lot of people just have to see when it comes to this hobby. Like, are people really this detached from reality, right? And I'm not going to get political in this video, guys, because I know some of you don't like that, but I want to use this because it is important, right? There are, obvious measurable differences between how people that are generally more liberal and how people that are generally more conservative think, okay? And this isn't to bash either side, but it's important to recognize that, right? And there will be overlap, and sure, there's probably more than two groups, like there's probably, 3, 4, maybe more than that, whatever, right? But in general, there are two major groups and they do think differently on most issues. This is why there's so much, tension in society over things like abortion, about universal health care, universal basic income, like all of these things, capitalism versus socialism, right? Like there's huge divides in society, and it's just because of how people view things. But when you look at a lot of issues, right? For example, this person's basically upset about scalpers and, people that are buying product to make money. And I've even had people in my Pokemon investing channel, right, call me a scalper. Guys, scalping and investing is literally the same thing by definition. Like, you cannot make an argument based on the definition that it's different. You could make one based on emotional appeal, or if you want to twist things into different, you really want to twist the definition, I guess, to fit your narrative, sure, then like maybe, but just by the pure definition, right? Scalping, this is according to Oxford Languages, to resell something at a large or a quick profit. So if you resell something at a large profit, right, you'd have to go look at the definition of large. But, think about if you bought something for $100, 10 years later, it's $1,000. That's a large profit, right, by anyone's definition. You would be considered a scalper based on that definition, right? And to invest is just the same thing, right? You're to expend money. Expend just means to spend money with the expectation of achieving a profit or a material result, right? But for our sense, it would be a profit by putting it into financial plans, shares, or property. What is property? Property is just a thing or things belonging to someone. So if you go into a store or you purchase something from someone else at the agreed upon amount of money, that is now your property. And a property is just a thing, right? So Pokemon cards is a thing. So buying Pokemon cards with the expectation of achieving a profit, that's investing, okay? Which is literally what scalping is, okay? Because you bought something with the expectation of achieving a profit, or by reselling it, you are realizing that expectation in a sense. Now, if you go based on a quick profit, well, you could still make a quick profit and not be quote unquote scalping, like the emotional appeal that a lot of these people use, right? If you bought Fusion Strike in, I don't know, like I did, right? You bought it in December or January, whenever it was still in stock on the Pokemon Center, or you bought the build and battle kits like a month ago and you're selling them now, you could sell them for probably 50 Canadian when they were, 27, 28 Canadian, whatever it is. That's a pretty quick profit. You could do that and you're still not a scalper, right? Because that product was available to anyone for years and years, right? So it's not like you're somehow just taking all of the market share, which again, people would probably use a definition like this if they want to use emotional appeal in this argument. They would say to buy things at the usual price and then sell them when they're more difficult to get at much higher prices. So they would be referring to someone who goes into a retail store, buys all the product. There's now no product in the local market. You control the market. You can set your own price, right? Well, even if you use this example, right? And again, on a moral basis, I would never be someone who goes into a retail store and does that. Like that, to me, that is fucked up, guys. Like, get your product a different way. Like, just get your pre-orders in from Walmart, Target, online. Like, that's competition to me, right? Leave the little bit in retail stores for, the kid who actually is going in with his mom, who has no control over this. He's not going to be up, or he or she's not going to be up at 3 a.m, right, to get a pre-order in. Whereas you, a grown man or woman, you could probably do that, right? So just leave the retail stuff morally. Again, that's just my opinion, and it's a moral decision I've made. But when it comes down to the objective definition, even if someone wants to use this definition, and I've seen people do this, like on my page, I had someone get upset when I pre-ordered all of the Prismatic ETBs. They basically told me I was ruining the hobby. And, basically the next thing they told me is they invested in the housing market last year. They invested $500,000 in the housing market, where I invested 1% of that into, this card game. But point being, I don't know about you guys, but the housing market every single year becomes more and more difficult to enter for the average person, okay? And that's just because housing prices are outgrowing wage growth, right? In Western societies like the US, like Canada. So every single year, it's more difficult for the average person to get a home. But if you invest in a home, no one calls you a scalper, right? If you see BlackRock and all of these large corporations buying up single-family homes in Canada and the United States, no one gets upset about that, right? Even when it's a thing that you need to survive. Everyone needs a home. You need shelter. No one gets upset about that. No one connects the dots. But when it comes to a card game, when it comes to paper and cardboard and something not relevant to someone's survival, to humanity's survival, everyone just gets up in arms. They get so upset about it because think of the children. Pokemon cards, everyone gets upset, which I just think is ridiculous because, guys, if you want product, go to the Pokemon Center, right? There's still tons of product available. Look at this. You can buy booster boxes. Stellar Crown, new set, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, Terrapagos, good cards. You could try to pull Pikachu and Vivid Voltage, Battle Styles, Tyranitar. You have Fusion Strike and Battle Styles packs below current market value. below market value. You can open Fusion Strike, guys. No one cares. No one cares, right? They want to be able to get their Prismatic Evolutions ETB. Guys, we are in a part of the hobby where competition is rampant. And it's not just coming from investors and, quote unquote, what people would use scalpers. It's literally the same thing in my mind, right? Collectors and people that want to open the packs are doing the same thing. Like if you go to Rattle's Discord, he has a Discord bot with notifications as well for a lot of websites. So people are in all of these Discords, not just the investing ones, the collecting ones as well, trying to pre-order this product. If you don't get any on pre-order, okay, that's just competition. That's just how it is, right? You're too slow. I've pre-ordered all of my ETBs at 3 a.m. when I guarantee most people complaining about it, between 2 or 3 a.m., when most people were sleeping, guys, okay? I've made the decision the past month to stay up very late and fuck my sleep schedule to pre-order product, okay? That's just the reality of the market you're in. If you don't want to do that, that's fine, but don't blame other people for their decisions. Don't get upset about it for, no reason at all other than you just not getting any. You can try your luck. Go to your retail store. If not, wait 6 months, wait a year, wait 2 years maybe. Maybe it gets the Crown Zenith effect. You will be able to find those at retail more than likely eventually. And I say more than likely because there is a possibility that this is just like the biggest set of the past, 10 years. It's bigger than Evolving Skies and it's just impossible to find. If that's the case, like that just shows you how much competition there is, because it's not like people would be able to buy these out and flip them if there wasn't that level of demand, okay? So, it's just the market we're in. There's just so many people in Pokemon right now, and not just investors and scalpers, okay? It's people that, which again is the same thing, okay, by definition. You can argue it all you want in the comments. I don't care. By definition, it's the same thing. There are people in here that just want to open cards and collect. And, if there are that many people, it's simple supply and demand. If there's not enough supply, there's going to be competition for the product amongst even collectors and people that want to open the cards. And guys, to tie this into investing, okay, because I know a lot of people think that everyone's doing what we're doing right now, right? Everyone's putting product away in their basements, distributors, every single, person, whether man or woman, old, young, they all have Pokemon in their closets. Again, remember back to the differences between how people think, okay? A lot of people in this hobby don't see the investing side of it. They think it's wrong. They're never going to do it. A lot of people just don't have that type of mindset and that type of delayed gratification where they can put stuff in their closet and just not touch it. Again, like you can go in these subreddits and you'll see people going, oh, I have issues. I can't control myself. I gotta just rip it. I gotta open it. I can't control myself. It's like a drug. There are so many reasons why people are not going to be able to hold sealed product, right? They're going to need the money. They're going to be over leveraged. They're not going to be able to keep it sealed, right? They just lack discipline. They're going to be that large group of people. There's going to be that large group of people that just don't philosophically believe in it, and for that reason aren't going to do it, right? And you can look at the size of the subreddit. This is the collector one, right? That, people hate investors in the subreddit and sealed collectors. 479,000 members, okay? Pokemon investing subreddit, 130,000, okay? So not even, what is that? A little over a quarter, I guess, right? Less than a third, more than a quarter. There are much less people doing this compared to people just opening the product, okay? Way more people are in Pokemon right now because they want to open the product. They want to get some cool cards. They're very excited about Pocket and some of these sets coming out like Prismatic. And just remember that when it comes down to investing, these people are going to be here long term, right? Some people might leave the hobby, okay? This person might get upset and be done with. But for every one person that gets upset and leaves, there's probably going to be 2 people that are coming back, right? There are always people leaving the hobby. And, Rudy talks about this. The average person in the hobby only stays for 18 to 24 months, whatever he says. And he might just mean that in the investing side, but it's probably quite realistic when it comes to the average collector and person who enjoys the just TCG in general, right? There are going to be people moving in and out all the time, okay? So don't worry, there will be demand. And remember, this person left 20 years ago, okay? They weren't here for the past 20 years, apparently, according to them. They might be back in another 20 years because they open more cards, or their kid might come back because they're going to pass down these cards in 20 years to their children. and then their kids are going to come back and want to open these old sets as well. So it's just cyclical, man. Pokemon is continuing to grow. Don't worry about it too much. People that are just, really emotional and shit, they'll calm down, right? And they'll just go through this cycle over and over again in life, blaming people when things don't go their way, but they'll always come back. So there will be money to be made. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Sorry this was long and rambly, but hopefully that makes more sense. Stay safe wherever you are in the world. I'll catch you in the next one.